This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
To find out how you can help kickstart our latest show, Live from Base 6, visit our website and click on the Kickstarter icon.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris. Welcome to the Photography Guild.
You know, a lot of times when we think about taking our cameras outside, we're thinking we only want blue, sunny sky days. But you know, this is the time of year when we have some really interesting weather. In fact, here in Northern California, we had a tornado watch last week. So let's take our cameras outside and see if we can capture some interesting photographs of this crazy weather. Well, let's first talk about going out and photographing snow. Now, snow is a really interesting thing because it is so darn white. And one of the first things you want to do when you take your camera out into the snow is you want to check your white balance. Now, normally I use an automatic white balance or an AWB setting on my camera, but if I'm out in the snow and I'm noticing that the whites are a little too blue, I'll go custom. Even if you look at this photo here, you can see this is all snow, but there's a lot of different color variations within it. So when you go to set a custom white balance, the first thing you need to do is find a clean patch of snow. And you'll go ahead then and set your camera to custom white balance, and then you'll take a photo of this totally white snow. Then you can go ahead and see if you like the look of that in your viewfinder. And don't forget to change your settings back when you're done. So now that you've got your settings right, the next thing you want to do is you want to look for some color. When you're out in nature and it's snowy, you're going to find it's a very limited color palette. So do what you can to find just a hint of color. Like in this photo, really the only color we have is of the little log cabins on either side of the path. If you're skiing, it could be somebody's hat, it could be mittens, it could be ski pants. Just see if you can find a little hint of color somewhere to break up all that white. Now, the other interesting thing is to look at the shadows because they can provide some really striking photographs in the snow. In fact, this was a daytime shot, but because where I was snowshoeing, there was very little light coming in. So you see those tracks almost as this dark shadow. It's very dramatic. And then you can also find color in ice. This is such a wild photo. This is actually outside of our window of the cabin we were staying in. There was so much snow and so much ice that when I shot through the window, this is what it looked like. So look for your color in your objects, in the shadows, and in the ice. Now, when you're out in the snow, there's a few other tips that you need to think of. One is you need to carry extra batteries. Batteries do not do well in severe cold. They tend to drain really fast. So carry an extra set of batteries and keep the batteries and your camera warm, like under your coat. Now, if it's snowing really hard, you don't want your camera being exposed to that. So get a really large resealable plastic bag and put your camera in that. I've even gone so far as to cut a tip out of one of the corners and push my lens barely through that. That way the body of my camera is shielded, but I have an unobstructed view through my lens. Now, in terms of settings, you could try slowing your shutter speed down to capture some falling snowflakes if you want. And then the other thing is when you bring your camera back inside. If the camera's been out with you for quite a while, you're going to want to warm it up slowly. So what you can do is just bring it in and either set it on a windowsill, or if you have an enclosed back porch, for maybe a half an hour to an hour, then bring it into your nice warm cabin. So now let's shift to liquid snow or rain. There are a lot of fun things that happens when it rains, and one of them again is playing with the shutter speed. This was rain bouncing off of a rock, and so I thought that was kind of cool and abstract when I played around with the shutter speed. A lot of times when you've got these rainstorms, you also have some really interesting cloud action going on. So look up at the clouds. And in this case, I was looking for color, and I really found it in this intense blue palette going on. The sky was very blue that day, but the thunderheads were even this deeper blue. And then up in the clouds, look for light. It almost looks like the whole sky is being backlit, but I just love the way that light rims the edges of those clouds and makes that tree in front almost be like a silhouette. And don't forget the rainbows. They really are a combination of this incredible storm, the clouds, the light, and color. Now, after the rain, I love to go out and look for droplets. And for these kind of shots, many times I use my macro lens, and I use a really shallow depth of field. So I get a really up close look at that raindrop. Plus then I get that really pretty watercolor background. Now, after the rain, it's fun to go out and look for reflections. In this case, I got a reflection in the water droplet. Can you see the upside down tree in that water droplet? I have to be honest with you, I was using my macro lens and I didn't see it in my viewfinder while I was shooting it. It didn't appear until I got it back into post. So that was kind of a nice surprise. So let's start talking about what to put in our camera bag. I have to tell you about this cool new water I came across. It's called Metro Mint. It's this mint water, so you can imagine it's really refreshing and it doesn't have to be kept chilled. You know, so many times when you have a water bottle in your camera bag, it just starts to taste flat after a while. Well, with Metro Mint, it really doesn't do that because it's this combination of pure water and real mint, and it has no sweeteners or preservatives or calories, and it's just really a nice, refreshing thing to keep in your camera bag. And FYI, if you go to their website, they have a coupon right now where if you buy one bottle, you get one free. So I'll have a link on that at the Photography Guild site if you want to check it out. Now, some of the other things you're going to want to have in your bag, definitely take, for me, it's my three main lenses, my wide angle, my telephoto zoom, and my macro lens. When you're out shooting in weather, you can use all three to get some really amazing shots. The other thing you're going to want to take with you is some kind of lens cloth. You can take a piece of an old t-shirt or a microfiber cloth, but just in case you get any droplets on your lens, you're going to want to be able to get those off. Now, we talked about how cold sucks the life out of batteries, so make sure you have extra with you. Now, for my Canon camera, I always have one battery in the camera, and then I bought a second battery that I keep charged and carry in my bag just in case. But if I was going to be out in the snow, I would make sure to put those back on the charger when I get back in from my shoot. That way they stay nice and charged. And then the other thing is these large plastic bags. Again, you can cut a corner of them off, and if you need to, you could even put a rubber band around your lens. That way it keeps your camera protected from the elements. Now, we always want to make sure in our settings that we're shooting in the lowest ISO possible. But remember, when you're outside, what you normally on a sunny day might shoot at 100, if there's a lot of clouds or very little light coming through, you may have to bump it up. Play with that a little bit, but go with the lowest one that you can get away with. Now, the other thing to think about is what you're going to shoot in. If you shoot in automatic, you know there's going to be somewhat of a limitation there. If you shoot in aperture value or your AV mode, you're going to be able to control your depth of field a lot better, which is kind of fun to play with. And then, of course, if there's some action, you have falling rain or snow, try shooting in your time value mode and playing with your shutter speed. So your assignment this month, get outside and photograph some weather. Now don't forget, share your photos. In fact, our portraiture episode last month, people put up some fabulous portraits of their kids and their pets, and it was just great. And they posted them on our Photography Guild page on Flickr. Now if you want a fast and easy way to get there, just go to our website and go to the Photography Guild show notes, and we have a bar there that has iTunes, our RSS feed, and then Flickr. And if you click on that, it'll take you right to our page on Flickr where you can upload your photos and share them with us. Now next time we're going to start practicing capturing sequences. So not only are we just going to be using our camera in its regular setting, but we're also going to practice using our power drives a little bit. So that should be a lot of fun.
For more information on this episode, go to our website and visit the Photography Guild show notes. Also, if you have any questions or ideas, send us an email. Thanks for watching.